the video! Shanghai is the beginning of our long journey as skiers to Niseko. We took Junyao, a small Chinese airline, to Osaka Kansai for the first leg of our trip. After arriving at Kansai, we quickly grabbed our luggage and took the train to our hotel for the night. At this point, I am starving. The hotel we picked is downtown and right next to the train station. Here's our room. Ready? The room was tiny, but that's pretty normal for Japanese hotels. They make it up in other ways, as you'll see. I immediately went to 7-Eleven and I was blown away. The variety that they have is insane. First thing I'm eating in Japan is this pull down here. Oh, and then pull it out. And the seaweed is the seaweed's not packaged together with the rice, so it stays crispy. Pretty good. I also got these chashu mazumen. I warmed it up in the microwave that the hotel has in the vending machine room. This is our room in Osaka. It is tiny. There's no place to put anything, but it was cheap and we just needed to stay for a couple hours until we catch the flight to Sapporo. We took the train back to the airport and we mainly used Google Maps for transit, which was super helpful because it told you which platform to board. We're flying to Sapporo on Peach Air, a budget Japanese airline. Check-in is in a remote terminal that we had to take a shuttle to get to. The terminal was pretty bare bones, but there was a couple of stores and we got lunch while waiting for our flight. There were no jet bridges at this terminal, so we walked out to the airplane. I mean, I don't mind the blue skies. We immediately went to check out a mall and the whole experience was sensory overload. In the basement, there was a food market and everything looked so good. For dinner, we really wanted a uni ball, so we found this restaurant attached to a seafood market. And we got these giant oysters.
This is the biggest oyster I've ever seen in my life.
Here. And a bucket of scallops that was cooked at the table. Alright, Kevin's putting on the surgery gloves.
Oh, it is up there now.
That looks so good. That looks so good. Oh, I think now. For a couple dollars, you can get this seafood broth that you pour into the leftover rice. I think it was $66. Yeah. For that giant thing of scallops and 3 giant bowl of sriracha. Ice cream in the snow. Get in here. Ah, you're ready. After dinner, we discovered by chance that there was a whole underground city beneath Sapporo, and we got more food there.
Are you doing boomerang? Okay.
After a lot of traveling, it's finally time to head to what we came to Japan for, Niseko. We got up bright and early to make the 3-hour bus ride from Sapporo downtown to the ski resorts. This was my first time seeing the mountain, and it was breathtaking. We stayed at the Hilton Niseko Village, and we got the room on points and bought the points during a promotion, so it's cheaper than the cash rate.
But there's a shop next to that.
After 3 days of traveling, we finally headed up the mountain for the first time. I still remember how to ski. Our first dinner at Niseko was a teppanyaki restaurant inside the Hilton we were staying at. We picked a multi-course meal with abalone, A5 Wagyu, and more. You have like one video. And literally. Okay.
For a whole day?
It's now time to go to bed and get ready for a whole day of skiing. The breakfasts at Japanese hotels are actually out of this world. The variety is insane and the quality is amazing. Since it hasn't snowed in a couple of days and we had avalanche gear on us, we decided to climb to the peak of Niseko. It was only when we reached the first peak did we realize that we went up the wrong gate. The actual peak was still 30 minutes hike away. Hello! It's a video! There was this cool little shack at the peak. After that long hike, we decided to take a break at the Park Hyatt. We still have a long day ahead of us for tomorrow. But first, we're gonna head into town and get some yakitori. On our walk back to the bus station, we ran into this cool little night market. Hanazono powder guides picked us up from the hotel and we headed to Hanazono. We packed up our avalanche gear and headed up the mountain before anyone else. Before the first run of the day, our guide gave us some instructions.
When I stop my pole at my side, don't go better one than me. Like this way. When I cross my pole, so stop your point. Don't move. Okay. Yeah. When I swing, slow down. This way, and come. Okay.
All tours got early access to the mountain, and before we headed to the backcountry, we did a bunch of runs on empty, freshly groomed trails. This backcountry gate was a bit of a traverse from the lift, and once we go out of the gate, we're now officially outside the ski resort. We took a break just outside the gate to catch our breaths before we continue our next section of traversing. After a bunch of traversing, we finally get to the downhill section, and the views were breathtaking. Even though it hasn't snowed for a couple of days, our guide found plenty of powder. And we got back to the lounge just in time for lunch. For dinner, we got the hot pot inside the hotel, and it was nowhere near as good as the dinner from the previous nights. During our final day at Niseko, it finally snowed. The knee-deep powder at Niseko was amazing. Ready? We weren't familiar with the terrain, so we stopped here to check if it was a cliff.
Let me check. Hold on. No, it's not a cliff. It's not a cliff. Whoa. Whoa. What does this sign say? Slow.
After that, we took the long bus ride back to Sapporo and started our long journey back home.